This is homework set 6 on linear inequalities. We're going to look at questions 1 through 5. Question 1 asks us to solve this equality, 5x less than or equal to 11. So what we're looking for are what values of x will we get if I multiply them by 5 and I still get a number that's less than or even equal to 11. So let's divide both sides by 5. But now here's what I do. When I make a multiplication or division in an inequality, I always say alert, because if I multiply or divide by a positive number, no symbols change direction. No inequality signs change direction. They stay the same. But if I multiply or divide by a negative number, then the inequality symbol changes direction. Now in this case, we're dividing by positive 5, so no change in direction of the symbol. So let's go ahead and divide. So I'm going to divide by 5. I'll write it up here. I'll get 5x over 5 less than or equal to 11 over 5. 5 will divide into 5 once, so I'll get x is less than or equal to 11/5. Now, that is our answer. I'm going to leave it like this because the question asks us to leave the answer in inequality notation. So this is inequality notation. Now, we're all supposed to graph this solution, so I'll draw a number line. Now, I'm just going to say here's 11/5. Now, it's less than or equal to, so I'm going to draw a closed circle at 11/5. And what we're looking for are all the values of x. Where is x? Well, x has to be to the left of 11/5. So all the x's, I'll label it, all the x's are going to be down here. Now, if you want a little bit more information on your graph, where is 11/5? Well, 11/5, if we divide 5 into 11, we'll get 2 and 1/5. All right, 2 1/5. So this is about 2 1/5. So where would 0 be? 0 would be over here. We got a fraction here in question 2. I've got 1/4 times x, strictly less than 5. Now, there's a division here, right? X is being divided by 4, so to eliminate that 4, I am going to multiply by 4, but alert, remember when you multiply or divide an inequality by a negative number, the direction of that symbol changes. Now, we're okay here because I'm multiplying by a positive number. So let's just go ahead and write this. So I'll show you what I'm doing. 4 times 1/4 x, strictly less than 4 times 5, right? Multiply both sides by 4. Now, 1/4 of 4 is 1, or 4 over 4 is 1. So I get an x over here, strictly less than 20. There we go. Now I'm supposed to graph this, so I'll draw a number line here. I'll label it x, and I'll mark 20. Now, if this is 0, if 0 is down here, 20 is going to be to the right, and because it's an open, I'll draw an open circle because I have a strict inequality. So strict inequality means that 20 is not included, and I indicate that with an open circle, indicate that's 20. Now x is, where's x? X is to the left of 20. Now here's 20, so I want everything to the left. I'll shade it in like this. There we go. Question 3, look at what we have. We have a multiplication by a negative number. So to undo that multiplication, let's do this. Let's divide by -6. And alert, I'm dividing by a negative number, so the direction of that inequality sign is going to change. So let's write it here. I'm going to have -6x divided by -6 is now going to be greater than 24 divided by -6, or x is greater than 24 divided by -6 is -4. Now let's graph this. I'll draw a number line, label it x. Now, where is -4? Well, just put -4 someplace, and then we'll locate a 0. So what am I going to draw? An open or closed circle? I got a strict inequality, so open circle. Maybe I'll put it right here, -4. Now, where is 0 here, just so we can get our bearings? Negative 4 is to the left of 0, so 0 would be over here. And what I'm looking for are all the x values that are greater than negative 4. Now, greater than means to the right. So the arrow points to the right. So I'm going to label this as my graph. Let's look at question 4 here. We've got a negative multiplier there. Now, the way I'm going to handle this is in 2 steps. I could do it in one, but this is just the way that I do it. So I'm going to see this, first of all, I'm going to rewrite it like this. If there's a negative sign in front of a fraction, I like to put the negative sign on top. So I'm going to write it this way. Same thing, just easier for me to deal with. Now what I'm going to do is I've got a multiplication and a division. I'm going to get rid of the division first. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3, right? If I have dividing by 3, I'll multiply by 3. So my plan is to multiply by 3. It'll look like this. 3 times negative 2/3 x strictly greater than 3 times, I'll put it in parentheses, negative 6. Otherwise, it looks like this. It looks weird. All right, now on the left side, these 3's are going to divide to 1, so they cancel essentially. I get negative 2x is now greater than 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. Now, no need for a sign change here. Even though I get a negative over here, I'm not multiplying or dividing by a negative. I get a negative number as a result in the multiplication, but I'm not multiplying by a negative number. But now we're going to divide. So we're going to divide by negative 2. Alert, I'm dividing by a negative number, so I have to change the direction of that inequality sign. So that inequality sign is going to go from greater than to less than. So we'll have negative 18 over negative 2. On the left, that divides to 1, so I'll get x is strictly less than negative 18 divided by negative 2 is positive 9. And to graph this, here's the number line. I'll label it x. Now, strictly less than 9. I'll just draw an open circle and label that 9. And then I want all the x's that are to the left. Yep, to the left. All right, so those are all over here. Now, where is 0? If you just want to put a map on it. 0 would be over here, right? 0 is to the left of 9. Question 5. We have that negative 20 is greater than or equal to 4x. So we've got a multiplier on the x. Let's divide by the 4 to isolate that x. So my plan is to divide by 4, but alert, now I'm dividing by a positive number, so no sign, no direction and signs will change. So let's do this. So we will get negative 20 over 4 greater than or equal to 4x over 4. Those will go out, and negative 20 divided by 4 is negative 5, greater than or equal to x. Now, you know, this is fine, but it's awkward. If you say, like, what number is x, and then you say the answer by saying, well, negative 5 is greater than x. It's just awkward. So here's what I'm going to do. We usually like to write x on the variable on the left side, so I'm just going to switch the order. Now, does this make sense? If negative 5 is greater than x, then x must be less than or equal to negative 5. It's sort of like this. Think of it this way. If I am older than you are, then you are younger than I am. Just turn the whole thing around. And now that's a better way to write the answer. And we can graph this. Draw a number line, label it x. Let's locate ourselves here at negative 5, right? Negative 5. Now, that equal sign is included. So it's a closed circle here. Let's just make that negative 5. And all the x's that we want are to the left. The arrow's pointing to the left. All right, so I want all of these over here. So I'll just shade that side in. And if you want to locate a 0, negative 5 is to the left of 0. So I'll put a 0 over here. There we go. Now that takes care of questions 1 through 5 in our homework set 6.